Hello my friends, we are currently editing my second book, Dying with Regrets. These chapters now are some of the most important chapters that are in the book, so listen up. We're going to jump straight in with this one because it's a longer chapter, and this chapter is called Time is Precious. Your greatest asset is your time because time is non-refundable. The majority of people look at their bank accounts with great attention and assess how much money they have left to spend, invest, and to potentially give away. However, they don't look at their time in the same way, and they end up wasting this incredibly valuable resource. You must have heard of the saying, time is money. Well, if you believe that time is money, then this must mean that doing nothing is an extremely expensive hobby. Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. Once you have lost it, you can never get it back. Thank God it's Friday. It's something that makes me cringe inside when I hear someone constantly saying it. So many individuals around the world are desperately waiting for that clock to strike 5 every Friday afternoon just to rush out and forget about the awful work week they had by getting absolutely wasted, to then spend most of Saturday with a pounding headache from the night before, having a little rest on Sunday, and then dreading going back to work on Monday to do it all over again. If you hate Mondays and love Fridays, then that could be your intuition telling you that you are currently on the wrong path in life. Do you notice yourself constantly complaining about your job but doing nothing to resolve the issue? Well, just think, what could you achieve if you put the same amount of energy you do complaining into working for something you truly want? Because the truth is that it takes way more energy complaining than it does taking action. Do you know that more people die on Mondays than any other day of the week? Research has shown a significant spike in heart attacks, strokes, and even suicides on Monday mornings. This isn't just coincidence, it's the result of the stress, dread, and emotional weight many people feel when returning to jobs or lives that drain them. After a brief escape over the weekend, the reality of an unfulfilling routine hits hard, and for some, the body responds with a fatal shutdown. This isn't just about Mondays, it's about the kind of life that makes Mondays feel unbearable. And it's a powerful reminder of why creating a life you don't need to escape from isn't just a nice idea, it's a necessity. For all we know, we have the one life to live. No reset, restart, or replay. And so many of you are just living for the weekends. So it's time to start using your spare time to create the life you want, instead of using it trying to escape the life you have. You have to be willing to do the things today that others aren't, in order to live tomorrow how others can't. How much longer are you willing to go on wasting your weekends and working in a job that you don't enjoy, just to buy things you don't really want or need, all to impress the people you don't even really like? For years I was working a job that I didn't really enjoy, which brought me no sense of happiness or fulfillment, only to have 2 of the 7 weekdays for myself. Most weekends I worked Saturdays and was so knackered, so by the time I was home, it wrote that day off completely. This left me with one day to myself to do the things that I wanted to do. Or did it? I need to change that there. Do the things that I wanted to do. Or did it? Okay, let's carry on. Sunday was the day to do a food shop, hoover the house, and then prepare for the week ahead. After a few hours of doing what I wanted to do, it was soon time for dinner, to take a shower, and then it was bedtime. The evenings during the week weren't much better. Working from 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m, I looked at people who worked a 9 to 5 job as blessed. By the time I left work, went to the gym and was home for dinner, it was almost time for bed once again. Have you ever Have you ever asked yourself the question, how much do I value my life? Whether you have or you haven't, I want you to pause and take a serious think about this. What price tag would you put on your life? What price tag would you put on your life? Actually, no, I don't want to do it. Okay, yeah. Now, I made a little summary here. These are the average, global averages. Watching TV per day, on average, is 2.5 to 3 hours per day. Sleeping, between 7 and 8.5 hours. Working, 8 to 9 hours. Scrolling on social media, even 2.5 to 3 hours, on average, per day, globally. That's crazy. That blows my mind. And this doesn't even talk about commuting to work as well. So it's crazy. So many of you are literally sleeping on your dreams. If you decide to oversleep and lay in just 1 extra hour per week, then over an average 80-year lifespan, that adds up to approximately 4,160 priceless hours you'll never see again. That's around 170 full days or 6 months of your life. That's crazy, my friends. If you're constantly pressing snooze on your alarm, then this is your warning sign to wake the fuck up. Because one day you won't have the choice to press snooze or not, because that day you'll be snoozing forever. Maybe you think 4,160 hours doesn't sound like that much. Well, just imagine being on your deathbed and having the opportunity to buy back some time. How much would you pay for just 1 single hour? 100? 1,000? Or would you hand over every single penny you had just to go back and spend an hour doing the things you really wanted with the people you truly loved? Now compare this to the hourly wage you receive. This could be £10, £100, or even much more. Whatever it is, ask yourself the question, is this amount of money worth me selling my priceless life/time for? Most of us start working full-time at the age of around 16 years old. Let's say you work 30 to 40 hours a week, plus your commuting times. On average, the global retirement age is approximately 65 years old, and the global life expectancy is approximately 80 years old. Are you willing to work a job that you don't enjoy for 40 years, only to have a potential 10 to 15 years to do all of the things that you've always wanted to do, like to spend time with loved ones, or to start that business, or to go travelling? So many individuals, me included for a long time, sell their goals, dreams and lives for the security of current comfort. I'm gonna put that in italics there, security, because it's not security, it's false. For current comfort. Realise that a salary is the drug they give you to forget your dreams. So never trade what you want in the moment for what you want most, and don't ever let your wage be your cage. It is said that we spend approximately 80 to 100,000 hours of our precious lives working. So if you're not truly happy doing what you do on a daily basis, now is the time for change. Now, I'm going to highlight that as well. Now is the time for change. I totally understand it may not be possible to take massive action right now and spontaneously quit your job like I did, but you can, however, make an exit strategy, start making sacrifices, and then take those small daily steps towards a life of fulfillment. If you're in a position where you aren't quite ready to take the leap, don't waste a third or maybe more of each priceless day. You can literally hate where you're at, but still gain all the skills you need for your future. Because if you start looking at your current career as the training grounds for your fantastic future, then the place that makes you miserable now becomes your classroom. That's very powerful. I'm going to say that again. Very powerful. If you're in a position where you aren't quite ready to take the leap, don't waste a third or maybe more of each priceless day. You can literally hate where you're at, but still gain all of the skills you need for your future. Because if you start looking at your current career as the training grounds for your fantastic future, then the place that makes you miserable now becomes your classroom. Don't fucking forget that, my friends. You may be required to do what you don't like for a while so that you can get some funds behind you in order to buy yourself a window of time. So use this period to get extremely clear on what you ultimately want and to also create a plan of action for how you're going to get it. Although it's likely to feel painful as you are breaking through the barrier into your next level of life, don't forget to keep reminding yourself that this pain is only temporary and that it's contributing to making your dreams one day become your reality. Look at creating your life the same as building a house. Don't put all your concentration on the final product, just focus on laying that one brick. And with enough repetition, the compound effect will build you that beautiful home. Because it's not what we do once in a while that shapes our lives, but it's what we do consistently. So many people believe that success is one big thing, but it's actually many small things compounded over time. But remember, the compound effect works in both ways, so be very aware of the things which aren't contributing to your success journey. Don't waste time not doing the things you enjoy or not living up to your fullest potential. Taking that first step is often extremely painful, and the greater your unhappiness, the greater the uncomfortable actions you will need to take. But your desire to change must be greater than your desire to stay the same, because either way you're going to endure pain. However, the type of pain you go through is totally up to you. You can live your life unhappily building someone else's dream, which means the pain will consequently last a lifetime, or you can face temporary pain and in return create the foundations to build a life of happiness and fulfillment for yourself. You won't fear the risk forever, but one day you'll face the regret. Nobody gets to the end of their life wishing they would have waited longer, so start now. You don't need to quit your job today. However, consider what your life could be like if you started to make the transition today. If you just started to spend more of your free time working on yourself and on the things that bring you a feeling of fulfillment. Don't hang around waiting for it to happen for you. Start today and do something to move you that one step closer to where you ultimately want to be. Replace one day with day one, because that one day may never come. The road to one day usually leads to a place called nowhere. And one day the opportunity you keep ignoring will become the regret you can't escape. Because you won't always have tomorrow to change today, as one day your someday will expire. Do you know what brings you fulfillment? Have you ever asked yourself the question, what do I desire? How much time are you happy to spend not going after what you truly want in life? And what is the cost of not taking action now? Not taking action now. What exactly are you devoted to in your life? Because so many of you are more committed to your work life than you are committed to building your dream life. You're committed to something that isn't committed to you, and these are the facts. If you're working in a day job, then you are there to work as hard as you can for the least amount of money that they will try to pay you. You are a cog in someone else's wheel of life, churning out work to contribute towards building their dreams, in return dimming down your own dreams and desires until you eventually give up on them or completely forget about them. The reality is that if you are working for someone else and died today, then there would be adverts put out the very next week to fill your space. However, there will be holes left in the hearts of your loved ones and a void left in the world which will never be filled again. Don't let your loyalty be your leash. In a thought-provoking speech, philosopher Alan Watts challenges us to consider a fundamental question. What would you do if money were no object? He urges us to break free from the conventional mindset of choosing careers based solely on financial security. Watts emphasises that many people spend their lives pursuing jobs they don't truly enjoy solely to earn a living. This approach, he argues, can lead to a sense of wasted time and missed opportunities to obtain a sense of true fulfillment. Instead, Watts encourages us to identify our passions and natural talents. He suggests that true happiness comes from engaging in activities that genuinely inspire and excite us. The core message of Watts' speech is clear. Life is too short to prioritise money over meaning. He advocates for living with purpose and intention, plus pursuing paths that align with our deepest interests and values. Watts reminds us that happiness and fulfillment arise not from financial success alone, but from living authentically and following our true passions. After everything I'd previously gone through regarding finding myself fighting for my life and also wanting to take my life, I realised that we should all make the very most of this potential one and only opportunity we have here on earth to become everything we possibly could be, and to fully enjoy and experience this gift. Stop saving things for that special occasion, because today is the special occasion. It's the only occasion. Let me ask you a simple question. If I handed you £1 million right now, would you take it? Most people would say yes in a heartbeat. But what if the only condition was you don't wake up tomorrow? Do you still want the money? Most likely not. Suddenly the answer changed. That tells us waking up tomorrow is worth more than £1 million to you, which also means that your life is already more valuable than you give it credit for. One day you aren't going to wake up forever, so start treating your time like it's priceless, because it is. And I want to end on this one. Money will return, but time won't. Thank you for listening to this one, my friends. It's very important. I think you should go back over it and just listen to this one again. If you want to get yourself on the wait list to get yourself a copy of this book, then visit dyingwithregrets.ryanurse.com, hit the link in my bio or send me a DM, write a comment on this video, and I'll hook you up, my friends. Thank you so much. Speak to you on the next one. Goodbye.